Welcome back. We had a quick overview of what genetic algorithms are, how they work, the idea behind them, and the methodology, and we spoke about uh, the idea of representing solution or possible solutions to problems as chromosomes, and then applying some operators to these solutions, and then evaluating the fitness of each of these solutions. In this video, we'll quickly have a look at the outline of the basic genetic algorithm, and then after that we'll ask ourselves a few sensible questions, and then in the next video we'll start introducing the genetic operators. So the idea, as we mentioned in the last two videos, is that we generate a random population of n chromosomes. Chromosomes are suitable solutions for the problem that we have. So randomly generate these chromosomes, these possible solutions. After that, we evaluate the fitness, or f of x, of each chromosome x in this population, and from there we try to create a new population. So we create a new population by repeating the following steps until the new population is complete. What we do is we select two parent chromosomes. So one of the genetic algorithm operators is this selection operator. How do we select parents? So we select two parent chromosomes from the population according maybe to their fitness. The better fitness, the bigger chance to be selected. So we can, for example, find the fitness of all the chromosomes as we mentioned, and then we can sort them either ascendingly or descendingly, and then we choose maybe the fittest two chromosomes to be the parents. For what? The parents for the two next operators, the first of which is the crossover. With the crossover, we can apply crossover to the parents to form a new offspring, or new children, or new chromosomes, new candidate solutions. If no crossover is performed, then the offspring is an exact copy of the parents. We will come to what crossover is in the next video and some other videos, and we'll have several examples. Notice we can actually have crossover probability. We will also come to what that is. And then the other operator is mutation. Mutation, with a mutation probability, again now we have a probability here, mutate the new offspring at each locus or each position in the chromosome. So what we do here is we try to change the value at each locus or each point, or maybe if the chromosome was, for example, an array, then at some of the elements of that array. And then after that, we just place the new created solutions, the new chromosomes, we place them in the new population, and we just use the new generated population for a further run of the algorithm. So we sort of get rid of the older population from the last iteration, and then we use the new one to perform another iteration. And then we always test if the end condition is satisfied. Remember, we said it's an iterative process, so we must have some stopping or termination criteria. If that criteria is met, then we stop and we return the best solution in the current population. Otherwise, we just keep looping. So this is in general the algorithm of a simple genetic, this is the outline of a simple genetic algorithm. And now we have these questions. For example, how do we actually create the chromosomes or the possible solutions? What type of representation or encoding do we use? We spoke about this in the last video, by the end of the last video, and we said this is a very important point. If we have a problem and we are trying to solve this problem using genetic algorithms, then we need to sit down and try over suitable representation of the possible solutions. Poor selection of the representation of the solutions can lead to poor results. So we need to properly sit down and properly find a suitable representation. We mentioned a binary string. It can be a string of real numbers or integers, or it can be a tree, it can be a graph data structure. There's all kinds of representation. Although we'll stick to simple representation in this series, but you can have all kinds of representations. Then crossover or mutation, we spoke about these briefly. We'll introduce them in the next video, but which one is more important? Which one is better? Which one is necessary? Well, in general, it's good to have both. We won't go into the debate of which one is more effective, but in general, it's good to have both. And then how do we select parents for crossover? So remember here we mentioned selection. How do we select parents now? And again, there are different techniques, but this can be done in many ways. As we mentioned, the main idea is to select the better parents. So the hope is that the better parents will produce better children or better offspring, right? So better new possible or candidate solutions. Then if we make a new population by only you choosing the new offspring, then this can cause loss of the best chromosomes from the last population. So remember here we said we actually placed new offspring into the new population, and what that means is we don't actually use any members of the population from the last iteration, and this causes loss of good candidate solutions. Why do we actually lose those? In fact, it'll be very useful if we can keep hold of them and use them in the next generation or the next population, or the next iteration, right? So we want to keep good candidate solutions from previous iterations into the current iteration, and this is this problem is common, and what we use is something called elitism. What elitism means is that at least one best solution is copied without changes to the new population. So we need to make sure that we actually copy at least one good solution from the previous population to the new population, so the best solution found can survive to the end of the run, basically, right? So these are valid questions that we can ask ourselves, but in general we had a look at a basic genetic algorithm. In the next video we'll start introducing some genetic operators for selection, for crossover, and for mutation, and after that we'll start to see some examples. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in my next video.